Today's word is milestones. That's right. Today's video, I have set a couple milestones. Hey everyone, welcome back for another $1,000 strap search. I got my $1,000 in singles here. The first thing I should tell you is the first milestone I wanted to talk about, which is I have finally reached 200 subscribers. I've cracked the 200 spot, and then my buddy Silver Surfer did a shout out video for me, and that pushed me to almost 220 overnight. So thank you to all of my new viewers. I appreciate it. I'll try to make it worth your while. The other milestone I wanted to mention is in front of you right here. This stack of $1,000 bills is the 100th stack of $1,000 bills. That's right. I have finally gone through 100,000 singles. Obviously not all in this video, but this here makes stack number 100. So that is 100,000 singles searched. Yes, I didn't do them all on this channel. I was doing this long before I was doing videos, but I did keep track. The way I keep track of my bills, by the way, is an interesting tip that you may or may not have picked up on from before. What if I had $1 for every single one of these straps? If I had $1 for every single one of these straps, I'd have $1,000 right now. And that's exactly how I know how many straps I do. Because every time I go to the bank and I get straps, I put $1 in a savings account for each strap. And I now reached $1,000 in that savings account. That tells me I have searched 1,000 of these individual straps, which would be 100,000 singles. So that's my tip for this week. That is how you can keep track of the singles that you have gone through, and that's what I do. All right, so let's get these out of the way, and let's check out this week's finds, and my goodness, did I come up with some doozies. This was an incredible find for my 100th or 100,000th strap, or single, however you want to put it. Let's start off with this one here. It doesn't look like much at first, but I did notice that there's an ink error on that second 7 right there. You can see that little extra dot of green there. Not a major deal, but it was something that I saw when I went through. This is a majorly over inked 3 on this particular serial number. I don't usually save bills like this or like the previous one, but it is stuff that I found, so I just wanted to show that. This particular bill was also offset, as you can tell. You can see how high this is and how close the serial number is to the lettering over here. So I noticed that, so I pulled that. Probably not going to keep it because it's not overlapping any of the other areas over here. But it was still an interesting find nonetheless, probably going back in circulation. I did find some trinaries. I've got 4s, 5s, and 8s on this particular one. This one is 4s, 7s, and 8s. 0s, 2s, and 3s. This one is 3s, 5s, and 8s. And 0s, 4s, and 6s on this particular one. Not in the greatest of shape. That'll probably get recirculated. And then check this out. I found one. I found a binary. All 7s and 8s. 7778, 7787. So close to being all kinds of different things, but it's a binary, and a binary is one thing it should be. That should be on your radar at all times, looking for a binary. I don't have very many of these at all. I do have a true binary, 0s and 1s, that I did find in circulation. I think I've got maybe 5 or 6 other binaries in circulation, but like I said, for my 100,000th bill search, to find a binary in there was incredible. I did find some quads. This one's quad 3s. It's got writing on it, so it's going to go back in circulation. Quad 6s. I did find some stars. This is a really low number star note, so I can't wait to look up this one here. Starting off with 3 zeros. If that was a number, that's only number 36,286. And it's in really good condition, so I will be excited when I do my next star run check. This one's a little higher number, and it's got writing on it for a star note, so probably going to go and back to circulation if it is not rare. Another star note here. And another. These were all 2013s. The first few were 2017s. Interesting stain on that one. Hopefully it's not one of the rares. And when I say rares, of course, I'm going to mycurrencycollection.com, where they do all the print runs on the different star notes, so you can tell how many were printed and if your note is rare. The ones that are not rare, they printed 3.2 million of in each batch. Those probably aren't going to go for a whole lot over face value, so I generally will keep them if they're in good shape, but if they are raggy like this one, I will let it go. This one, of course, isn't a star note, it is just an older note. This one's from 1999. I always pull every bill from 1999 and older. This one isn't in the greatest of shape, so it probably won't make the keeper stack. But this one is. This one is in really nice shape. 1999 note. This one is from 1995. Yep, 1995 on this one right there. Not in the best of shape. I did double check to make sure it's not a web note. Remember, when you're looking through singles, you're looking for the web notes that are from 1988A, 1993, and 1995. Those notes are out there in circulation, I know. Here's a 1993, also really rough shape, not a web note. 1988A, not in the greatest of shape as well, also not a web note. And this one's an 88. Some people tell me that the 88s are harder to find than the 88As, which is true. There's a lot less 88s than there are 88As. So to find an 88 in really good condition, actually, it was a nice find. This one's from 1985. Still a decent note. Good crispness to the paper. And is this? No, this one isn't. This one's the 1981 that I found. A little bit of a fold on the corner there, but overall, decent for a 1981. And this was the oldest note I found, 1963A. Now, that is something you don't find every day. It's maybe once a month I'll start finding bills from the 60s. So to find a 63A, to me that's pretty impressive. The 63 without a letter, you don't find very many of those at all. The thing that you tend to find, though, are the 63Bs. Those are the bar notes, because they were so short printed, everybody saved those particular notes. So what happens is people start raiding collections and they spend those thinking they're $1, and that's how those 63B bar notes get into circulation. But to find a 63A, that's a little tougher. They printed more of them, but there was no reason to save them, and you just don't see them out there. So I was happy to get this 63A. Now, the last thing that I found, this one is from, like I said, 1993. And what makes this note so special? Yes, I did pull this out of circulation. Take a peek right here. It just says the number 1. There is no letter on there indicating the location on the print sheet. This I just pulled was a 1993 web pressed note. The web pressed notes, let's see on the back here, there's the symbol right there on the back. That's another print number. That is number 8. That is the location of those. Normally on the regular notes, that number is going to be in the lower corner. See how this one's blank? But when you see the number up by where it says "In God We Trust," that is your clue on the back, and your clue on the front is only this single number right here. This was an experiment done by the federal government in trying to print dollar bills the same way they print newspapers, on a continuous fed web press. And they realized that the bills smeared a little more, the ink didn't hold as well, they weren't as crisp or clear. So they did the experiment for the 88A, 93, and the 95 series with just a handful of bills. And to find some of these in circulation today, these start out at $10. They go all the way up to $800 or $1,000 if you manage to find a star note. So yeah, this particular one, I believe I looked it up and it was like $10 or so. And yeah, found in circulation. One Webby. All right, so that was this week's Epic Finds. So now to go for something a little bit older. And when I say a little bit older, I mean a lot bit older. This particular note is a legal tender note. And if you collect singles, it's probably one of the most important notes you could ever collect. Let's take a quick peek at this one. This is my 1862 legal tender note. 1862 is the first year that the United States government actually printed $1 bills. 1861 notes were called demand notes. Demand notes were printed in denominations of 5, 10, and 20, maybe 50. Those were the 1961 demand notes. In 1962 was the first time that they issued legal tender notes, and it's the first time that you ever got a $1 bill. Usually a dollar was a silver dollar, a silver coin. So this was their first attempt at printing $1 bills. You can see this one I had graded by, well, it was graded by Paper Money Guarantee. It came out choice very fine, 35 EPQ I got on there. It's interesting because it's kind of an unusual note. It still has some of the print marks from when the printing process happened. The arrow right up top there for the cut line. I don't know if that's a sheet number on there or a paper number, but this particular note, that's what it started. That's how $1 bills started. That was the very first appearance of a $1 bill, and you can see right there on the top, active July 11th, 1862. It's funny because it says series 198 right there. Just a 5-digit serial number, 53709 on there. They also list the serial number here, and it's very difficult to read because of the location that they put it. So that is where it all started. If you collect $1 bills, obviously this is where you should be starting. Let's take a look at the back of this one here. This is a legal tender note for all debts, public and private, except duties on imports and interest on the public debt. Is receivable in payment of all loans made to the United States. Just look at how intricate that pattern is on the back. I mean, that is impressive. Keep in mind, this was done in 1862. So an 1862 $1 legal tender. And let's see, exceptional paper quality. That's the price that the guy had listed on it. I got it for a little bit less than that. But yeah, if you collect singles, this is the starting point. This is the jumping off point. 1862 legal tender. Let's take a look at the book, see what the book says. One of the things I find interesting is when you have graded bills, it even lists the Freiburg number. This one is number 16. That makes it very easy to find in the book. All you gotta do, knowing that the bills are in order by number, saves me the time and effort. Right there. Legal tender issues, United States notes. I know I mentioned demand notes because some people think that the first bills issued were demand. If I go here, Part 3, large size notes, the demand notes of 1861. They started out with $5, $10, and $20 only. So if you wanted a $1 bill, you had to wait for the legal tenders to come out. Legal tender bill, first issue, second issue, and so on down the line. There it is in the book. And if we take a peek down below, I already know that it's a 16 as far as the number goes. So number 16, legal tender. Type 2 starts off at 285, works its way to 450, 750. Once it hits 40, you're talking $1,500. A choice uncirculated is $2,000, and a gem mint perfect bill would be $7,500. My particular bill is graded 35, so you're talking somewhere between the $750 and $1,500 range. And with the EPQ and a 35, it's probably much closer to the $1,500 range. So that's what we have for you this week, where it all started with $1 bills, the 1862 legal tender. All right, guys, that's what I've got for you this week. If you like what you see and you learned anything interesting, go ahead and hit that like button. If you want to see more, go ahead and subscribe. To all my new subscribers, thank you for checking me out. Thanks for watching. Silver Surfer, I appreciate you sending them all my way. I can't thank you enough for that. I'll see you guys again next week. Have a good one.